And I'm really excited. But as I've gotten a little bit older, I sort of want to. Really, I'm lucky that I get to work in this industry, and particularly incredibly fortunate that I get to work in it this long. But I really want to work with people that are either immensely talented or people that I love and that I'm genuinely like best friends with. And unfortunately, Hugh does not qualify as either of those. But I am excited because I'm a Logan fan. So. And then, that covers Will Ferrell as well. That's a guy that my entire life, I feel.
Marvel just fired Ryan Reynolds. Or did they? This rumor came out of nowhere. 1 second, Deadpool 3 was happening, fans were excited, and everything seemed on track. Then suddenly, social media exploded with claims that Marvel had reached a breaking point with Ryan Reynolds and decided to drop him from the MCU. At first, it sounded ridiculous. Why would Marvel fire one of their biggest stars? But the more people talked, the more believable it started to seem. Some claimed Ryan was too difficult to work with. Others said his R-rated humor didn't fit into Disney's family-friendly vision.
I just thought we'd done everything, and I swear to God, we hadn't done Logan yet, but I said, Logan's going to be my last. I knew what the script I was excited about. I thought this is going to be perfect.
I occasionally work with a group called Pacific Wild and a guy named Ian McAllister who runs Pacific Wild, and I just love everything they do up there. So my hope is to go up there and get a distant look at a spirit bear.
And then, in the middle of all this chaos, Hugh Jackman, Ryan's longtime friend and biggest rival, finally spoke out. But here's the twist. His response didn't clear anything up. In fact, it only made things even more confusing. So what's the truth? Is Ryan Reynolds really out? Or is this just another case of the internet running wild? Let's break it all down. Every angle, every theory, and every possibility.
I always thought I'd end up as in law enforcement, like my family. So I didn't imagine that acting was a way to get out of the house. It wasn't really like a passion when I was a kid. It was something that I was already doing at home, to survive. So right. You kind of, I noticed when I was a kid, making people laugh was a great self-defense mechanism. It really helped me kind of navigate my way through my own home with my older brothers and my dad, and I could diffuse them by making them laugh.
The weirdest thing about this rumor? Nobody actually knows where it came from. There was no official statement from Marvel, no Hollywood insiders breaking the news, no verified sources confirming anything. But that didn't stop social media from going crazy. It started with a few vague posts, people claiming they had heard something was happening behind the scenes. Then suddenly, entertainment gossip pages started running with it. Before long, there were headlines everywhere saying Ryan Reynolds had been fired. And here's the crazy part. People believed it. Why? Because it actually sounded possible.
Yeah. My relationship with my father, which was very complicated and difficult. My dad was a very, I come from a middle class, kind of blue-collar home, and my dad was just of that generation where it's just like, he was Clint Eastwood, less is more. Simple grunts is how he communicated.
Okay, gotcha.
I think people tell themselves stories, and this sort of comes back to your worldview that you just mentioned about.
At first, the idea of Marvel firing Ryan Reynolds seemed insane. But when you start looking at past Marvel decisions, the story doesn't seem completely impossible. Marvel replaced Edward Norton with Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. Terrence Howard was dropped and replaced with Don Cheadle as War Machine. Even top-tier actors like Scarlett Johansson have clashed with Disney. So when people heard that Marvel had supposedly cut ties with Ryan, it felt like something that could happen. The biggest challenge with bringing Deadpool into the MCU has always been his R-rated style. Disney is a family-friendly brand. They like their heroes to be clean-cut and marketable to all ages. Deadpool, on the other hand, he breaks the fourth wall, swears constantly, and makes jokes that would get other Marvel characters canceled.
I would say that they're more surprises because they have beginnings, middles, and ends. They're not like, it's not just like hey, there's the person and we move on. It's they're there for a reason.
Yeah. And you said it just earlier, but I wanted to go back on that. You think that this might be the greatest film that you've...
Look, most of the time when the movie is this much fun to make, you up bad.
Some fans speculated that Disney and Marvel just weren't comfortable with Deadpool's tone and decided to quietly drop Ryan Reynolds before things got too complicated. Ryan Reynolds has made it very clear that he won't let Disney water down Deadpool. He's publicly said that he wants to keep the character R-rated, that he won't let the MCU soften Deadpool's humor, and that he's willing to walk away if necessary. So when this firing rumor spread, people thought, wait, what if he actually did walk away? And this is where things got even crazier. Now, here's where things take a turn. For years, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds have had a hilarious public feud. They constantly roast each other online, troll each other in interviews, and play pranks on each other. It's all in good fun, but their relationship has become one of Hollywood's most entertaining rivalries. So when the rumor about Ryan being fired blew up, fans immediately turned to Hugh Jackman for answers. Would he still be working with Ryan in Deadpool 3? Did he know something we didn't? Was he allowed to say anything about the situation? At first, Hugh stayed silent. And that's when people started getting suspicious. Some believed he was deliberately avoiding the topic. Others thought he was under contract and couldn't say anything yet. Then finally, Hugh Jackman broke his silence. But instead of clearing things up, he made them even more confusing.
About a month ago, this really hit home with me too. About a month ago, I was sitting in traffic and I was just like jamming These Dreams by heart. Oh. I was killing it in the car. And there was just this busload of high school kids that were parked right beside me. I didn't even realize. I looked over and every one of their jaws were just on the ground, laughing their friggin' guts out at me.
When fans started freaking out over the idea of Ryan Reynolds being fired, there was one person they turned to for answers: Hugh Jackman. Why? Because if anyone knew the truth, it had to be him. Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds aren't just co-stars, they're one of Hollywood's most famous comedic duos. They've been trolling each other for years, roasting each other in interviews, making fun of each other's movies, and even hijacking each other's businesses just for the laughs. So if Marvel had really fired Ryan Reynolds, there's no way Hugh Jackman wouldn't have something to say about it. And at first, fans waited patiently. But then, Hugh stayed quiet. And that's when people started getting suspicious. Was he avoiding the question on purpose? Was he under an NDA and couldn't talk about it? Did he know something that we didn't? Every time Hugh Jackman appeared for an interview or made a public appearance, fans begged him to comment on the rumor. But for weeks, he said nothing. Until finally, he broke his silence. And what did he say? That rumor grows bigger every time I hear it. That was it. No serious explanation. No passionate defense of Ryan Reynolds. Just a vague, almost amused response. And fans lost their minds.
Well, that is also accurate and weirdly high praise as well. It was just one of those. It felt like a live-action Pixar movie. It was something that, I wanted to do something where nobody was being stabbed in the face.
Yes.
There was almost no blood at all. I think I got a little paper cut on the movie. That was about it. And something that my kids can watch, but also as a parent, too, you want the parents need to get punched right in the heart as well.
What did he actually mean? Some people took Hugh's comment as a joke, a way of laughing off a ridiculous rumor that was never true to begin with. To them, this was his way of saying, guys, stop overthinking this. It's not real. But others weren't so sure. To them, his response felt too careful, like he was avoiding giving a straight answer. Because think about it, if the rumor was completely false, wouldn't he just say so? Wouldn't he just flat out deny it instead of making a vague joke? This led to two major theories about what Hugh's response actually meant. Theory number one, he was just being playful. One explanation is that Hugh genuinely thought the rumor was stupid and wasn't taking it seriously. This would make sense. After all, Hugh and Ryan love trolling fans, so maybe he was just having fun with the situation. Maybe he knew that as soon as he spoke, the internet would go crazy. So instead of clearing things up immediately, he decided to play into it just a little bit. If this was his intention, then mission accomplished, because his comment only made the internet talk about the rumor even more. But then there's the other possibility. Theory number two, he was hiding the truth. The second theory is that Hugh wasn't allowed to say more. Maybe there actually was some kind of behind-the-scenes tension between Ryan Reynolds and Marvel. Maybe Marvel told Hugh not to say anything definitive because they weren't ready to make an announcement. Maybe Ryan Reynolds was still negotiating his contract, and Hugh didn't want to accidentally say something that would mess things up. Or maybe, just maybe, Marvel wasn't done playing with fan expectations. Because let's be honest, Marvel knows exactly how much attention rumors like this get. Here's the part that really makes no sense. If this rumor was completely false, Why didn't Marvel shut it down immediately? Studios deny false rumors all the time. If an actor isn't leaving a project, you'll usually see an official statement from Marvel, Disney, or even the actor themselves. But this time, Marvel said nothing. And Hugh Jackman? Instead of giving a direct answer, he just added fuel to the fire. Was that intentional? Did Marvel want people to keep speculating? Or was Hugh Jackman just having fun messing with fans, the way he and Ryan Reynolds always do? Either way, his response did one thing perfectly. It made the rumor even bigger. While fans were busy dissecting Hugh Jackman's words, Ryan Reynolds was doing something that made people even more suspicious. He was doing nothing. Think about it. Ryan Reynolds is one of the most online celebrities in Hollywood. He's constantly cracking jokes, teasing fans, and dropping cryptic hints about his projects. He's not the type to ignore a rumor, especially one this big. But when the internet blew up over his supposed firing, he didn't say a word. No jokes, no sarcasm, no vague tweets hinting that something was off. Nothing, and that got people talking even more. Some fans thought his silence was a sign that something was really wrong. Maybe he was being forced to keep quiet. Maybe there was a contract dispute happening behind the scenes. Maybe he was waiting for Marvel to announce something before he spoke out. But on the flip side, some people saw his silence as proof that the rumor was nonsense. Because if Ryan had been fired, wouldn't he be dropping cryptic hints by now? Wouldn't he be promoting other projects instead of pretending nothing happened? And here's another thing. He's still interacting with Marvel actors online. If he was really out, wouldn't things be different? So the question is, was he staying silent because he had to? Or was he just ignoring the internet's nonsense because there was nothing to address? Either way, his silence only made people more obsessed with the rumor. And that's where things take an even crazier turn. Now, here's where things get really interesting. What if this entire thing, the rumor, the speculation, the debate, was never real to begin with? What if it was just one giant marketing stunt? Think about it. This rumor got more attention than any actual Marvel news. It kept Deadpool 3 in the headlines without Marvel having to say a single word. And Marvel? They just let it happen. Now, if you've been following Marvel for a while, you know they are masters of hype. They know how to keep fans engaged, how to build anticipation, and how to make sure a movie stays relevant before it even comes out. So what if they saw an opportunity with this rumor? Maybe they realized that the internet was hungry for Deadpool 3 news and decided to let the rumor grow before stepping in to shut it down. It wouldn't be the first time Hollywood used controversy to drum up hype. But there's also another possibility. What if Ryan himself played into it? Ryan Reynolds loves messing with fans. He's the king of misdirection. He knows how to use viral moments to his advantage. What if he saw the rumors spreading and thought, you know what? Let's just sit back and see where this goes. By staying silent, he let the internet do the work for him. No official statement, no interviews, just pure speculation driving engagement. And the result? Deadpool 3 is now one of the most talked about Marvel movies before we even have a proper trailer. So was this all a brilliant marketing move? Or just a case of the internet spiraling out of control? Either way, it worked. And now, the world is more excited than ever to see what happens next. At this point, it's pretty obvious that Ryan Reynolds hasn't been fired. There's no official statement from Marvel confirming it. Hugh Jackman's response wasn't serious. Ryan Reynolds hasn't acted any differently. This whole thing was likely just another example of the internet overreacting. But one thing's for sure, Deadpool fans are more invested than ever. Now, all that's left is for Marvel to finally give us something real, because after all this speculation, fans deserve answers. What do you think? Was this all one big misunderstanding? Or is there still something Marvel isn't telling us? Let me know in the comments, and if you stayed till the end, comment Marvel. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to me, and ring the bell so you will be first to know about newest drama.